Donald Trump bought a home called the Seven Springs Estate years ago in New York. And when he bought the home, he wanted to build it into a golf course. And the surrounding neighborhood said, look, no, we don't want that to happen. We don't want there to be a lot of construction. You could really mess up the pristine nature up here. We just don't want that. So Trump backed down and instead, years later, signed a conservation easement agreement, which gave him $21.1 million as a charitable tax deduction, which that's, for Donald Trump, some will argue, oh, well, Donald Trump, he took a losing situation. He turned it into one where he wins, one where he makes money. And that's the sign of a strong businessman, right? Except he's being investigated by the New York Attorney General for inflating the value of that Seven Springs property so that charitable tax deduction was $21.1 million. He's also being investigated for doing the same thing in Los Angeles with a golf course. It's this pattern of Trump using these valuations of his businesses to minimize his tax deductibles, his tax accountability, which, look, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because this is his home, right? And he's using it as a business property. Like, it's so symbolic of the fact that, like, Donald Trump doesn't know what a home is. He doesn't know what a family is, right? Everything to this man is a scheme to make money. He even used Ivanka Trump, and he would pay her hundreds of thousands of dollars in consulting fees for consulting on projects in Azerbaijan and Turkey, when everyone else associated with those business dealings said, look, no, there's no outside consultants here. But then once tax time came around, Donald Trump said, oh yeah, Ivanka was paid $700,000, $300,000 for consulting fees. What that would do is that would limit the tax accountability, the gift tax that he would have to pay if he gifted Ivanka that much money, which is what this was. This is a way for him to launder him paying Ivanka for, who knows, it could be a loan for a business of hers, or this family's so disgusting, right? We have like porn star payments. Like, who knows what this money is, right? And that's the scary thing, is that like, this is all out in the public now because you're the president and because you flew too close to the sun. Like, now we see that like your family is disgusting. You're disgusting, man. Like, everything to you is a way to save money. Oh, it's just gross. It's just really, really, really gross, and an embarrassment to Donald Trump, but also to us as a nation. Because like, how do we let people like this just get away with this stuff? Donald Trump has actually been accused of he's been found guilty of tax fraud before, and he's, like I said, he's being investigated. But this is just like a tiny piece of a much larger puzzle, a much larger swamp, if you will, right? And the reason why this story is so big is because if Trump were to have paid his taxes, he would have paid, it's estimated, conservative estimate, he would have paid $400 million more dollars to the U.S. government. So he basically cheated the U.S. government out of $400 million, and now he's running it and using the government position to make hundreds of millions of dollars, which we'll get to in later videos. How Trump is using his hotels to essentially take bribes from companies looking for Donald Trump to make changes to federal regulations, whether it's coal, whether it's international relations, as we'll find out. This is really gross. This is really, 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 really bad for our country. So subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning back in. I'm going to be making videos about this for probably weeks, because there's so much information which is really fascinating. It's interesting because Donald Trump is this like bigger than life character who had this hit TV show and then went on to win the presidency, and that is in question because he cheated, right? Just like he's cheated and everything. So that's fascinating because we're starting to see like the layers peeled back as to like who this guy is, how he behaved himself over his career. But it's also fascinating just for if this information came out about anyone's tax dealings. It's fascinating because when you have so much money, hundreds of millions of dollars moving around, it's interesting to see how it all works. And unfortunately, with this, we have to see how it can be defrauded and how it can be how one person armed with an army of tax lawyers can just utterly mess with the system. So these are some changes we're gonna have to make in the coming years when because we are about to enter a phase where we are going to respond to Trump and everything that's happening with this man, whether that's his deregulation of environmental policies, we're going to tighten those up, whether it's his cronyism and implementing or picking people in high level cabinet positions to run parts of the government in which they're doing business. We're going to have to weed them out, and the tax code, right? Or let's just go in another one, international relations, right? We're going to have to undo a lot of the mistrust that Donald Trump has built with our allies, and like this tax code, we're going to have to really focus on this because this is the stem of a lot of problems here in the United States. It's why a lot of agencies who are designed to regulate this and to oversee, people who are trying to defraud the system. It's why those systems aren't well funded, right? Because the taxes that people should be paying, the $400 million that Donald Trump should have paid, would go to fund an agency for years, right? An agency who oversees this for years. So this is just it's fascinating what we're seeing here, and it's going to be really interesting to read what's going to come out, because I could make dozens of videos, and I probably will make dozens of videos just about what was released Sunday. But the New York Times made it very clear that like over the next month, there's just going to be bombshell after bombshell coming out, because Trump has a career, decades of defrauding the American government, which he now runs. Oh, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. So I'm glad that I have you guys with me to watch through this and to try to figure this all out, because this is just we're gonna have a lot of work to do in the coming years when this is all done, because this is just madness.